Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful start to the new year as we get moving into it a little bit more. I'm on today because Master Jesus came to me this morning and he was talking about karma and the transformation of karma and what the concept of his actions were 2,000 years ago when he transmuted world karma. And by transmuted, he says he means he took the awareness he had of humanity's pain, took it and literally transformed it by deliberately and intentionally releasing it from the consciousness of humanity and the consciousness of the planet. He said it was very similar to what we did the other evening when we held the meditation to quench the fires in Australia 2 evenings ago. And I want to thank everybody who participated both on my YouTube channel and in our students group on Facebook. I want to thank everybody who participated in that. The results were virtually immediate. We had students down in Australia who said the rain actually started falling where they were that evening. And as you know now, that the winds and the fires are being quenched as we speak right now quite rapidly. And there were other groups around the world that were doing a similar process to quench the fire, and all good intent was there. But what Master Jesus came to me this morning and said, transforming the energy, the pain, the suffering, the angst, the hurt of the world, to release it isn't about taking it on and making it yours. It literally says about recognizing it, being aware of it, feeling it, and then deliberately and intentionally letting it go from a place of love, compassion, and gratitude. He said, this is the same we did the other evening, but what we did was inverted. He said, what we did the other evening was we put positive energy in the form of an image out, and the vibration that we had of love, of feeling and extending that sense of joy and love and well-being to all the life forms there, that the planetary consciousness subjectively and automatically responds to our highest vibrational intention. Whether that vibrational intention is fear or anger or love or peace, it just reacts. She receives. Gaia receives energy, and she gives energy to us, and she reacts to what we give, and she reacts to what we receive, to how we respond to what she does give, as well as she reacts to any intention, good, bad, or indifferent. She just responds. She's the mother. But when Master Jesus came to me this morning, the feeling that he communicated was not one of suffering. Excuse me, I'm trying to articulate these words differently. He said, what I went through was not a condition of suffering. It was a condition of transmutation and transformation. Please understand this idea of transmutation and transformation. If you are in a relationship where you are struggling because there is poor communication and there's lots of difficult feelings, he said, it's important that when you identify difficult feelings, it's not about where those feelings originated. It's about your willingness to release them. And in doing so, you move yourself to a higher estate. And it's really fascinating because the feeling that he communicates to me in the vibration of the words that he's channeling through me, it's literally a feeling of like letting go. It's not a feeling of I have to change what's out there. Something different has to happen for me out there for me to feel a certain way. No, this is literally a complete acceptance of responsibility of what we are aware of. And when I feel that coming from him, there's just this lightness. Literally, if you took, I know, I had a 25-pound weight on your shoulder and you're walking around with it, and you suddenly just realize, oh, I can put this down, and you just dropped it. And you literally, I don't know if you've ever done this, you can experiment by putting your hands, backs your hands between two door jambs and push against it for about a minute, and then step away from the door and watch your hand almost automatically float up. It's kind of like that kind of feeling that he conveys to me in describing this process of transmutation. It literally is being aware of the anger, the hurt, the upset. Whether you think it's originating from you or from other people, it does not matter, he says. Your capacity to deliberately and intentionally release any negative energy in place of love, to literally from a place of love, to release that which no longer serves you or no longer serves the other. So someone can be angry at you, and I'm going to use the example that was recent. Somebody was really angry at me, and I realized that they were really upset, and I didn't want to be responsible for their upset, but I realized I was feeling what they were feeling. I could actually feel the pain they were in. I could feel the disappointment, the upset that they were going through. And in that awareness, I realized although this is not mine, I do not have to blame or attack or defend or anything like that. All I have to do is just breathe, stay present with myself, and exhale. And he said that's exactly what he did, but on a far greater scale. And he said what you all accomplished with Australia is very similar, transmuting energy from a different vibrational state of consciousness. And that's a really fascinating thing when you realize that we can literally transform states of emotion in ourselves, in others, and in the human collective consciousness and unconsciousness. We can literally transmute the causative factors that are inducing the geological, geoelectric, and geomagnetic conditions on this planet and in the solar system. They are intimately connected to us. Master Jesus is just saying, when you recognize that you are inseparable from all that is, your responsibility for how you choose to be takes on a greater, it's like greater, it takes on he's saying it's important not to understand. He said there's no level of difficulty in terms of how you want to change things, but the word that when you become more aware of these, what's the simplest way I can say it? When you are aware of the pain and the suffering of others, and you are able to, through an act of intention, to extend your vibrational consciousness of love towards anything such as this, that you will by that token transform it in the other without directly having to interact with them. This in turn will have a domino effect on those connected to those that are connected to that. And your ability to deliberately and intentionally remain in that state of love and grace, regardless of the awareness you have of their disappointment or their anger or their hurt, if you are able to maintain a state of awareness in that, you will literally transmute that. I was not killed on the cross, as some would say. I was resurrected by the transmutation of the negative energies. So understand this, the resurrection was being in the vibrational state of awareness, of recognizing the great suffering that humanity was going through at that point of what you call time and space. And my ability then to deliberately and willingly embrace that and release it was not just an effect that was beneficial to humanity as a whole, but also served me in the evolution and development of my transfiguration and transformation to a higher state of being and a greater level of responsibility and creativity in this condition that you call life, the creative potential of being. So please understand this, that you must learn first to release your own anger, your own upset, your own fears. And as you learn to gain expertise with that, you can move into the process of working with others. And even if you have not mastered that, you may still do so with others as well, to the degree that you're capable of, for you will always grow with whatever effort you put towards this process. It's easier to understand when you engage yourself in the deliberate action of these actions. And like I said, when I feel what I'm feeling right now as he's articulating this energy through me to you, that he says, understand that this is something that every single individual in the human kingdom is interconnected with, whether they are aware of it or not. All of the suffering of animals and people that you were aware of in Australia, even though they were not aware of the immediacy of your love and your grace in the transformation of the consciousness that was causing those horrific effects that you call fire, was merely an effect of consciousness. That it was very important you understand that the others do not need to be aware that you're making that change, that you're doing that on their behalf, for they will begin to experience that. They experience your love and your joy and the transformation of your love. And this is what happened 2,000 years ago, and this is why the normal cyclical changes that occur in this dimension as a result of accumulated negative emotional energies was averted then. As you are in the process of not only averting it again, but of moving yourself and the rest of your brothers and sisters to a higher state of deliberate and intentional being from a state of love. It's amazing. Thank you. It's amazing when you get to that place where you understand this and know this, and every one of us does this all the time. The question is, do we want to become conscious of our capacity to transform and transmute energy? Yes. And he says it's a choice. It has to be a choice made in consciousness. What do you mean by that? Conscious consciousness, he says, is where you are aware and are deliberately making a choice to be in a state of being that you know is going to be beneficial to yourself and the life around you, as opposed to not being aware of the effects of your actions on the life around you. It is a difference in degrees of awareness, but it's better that you do it from a place of being aware that you are aware. And this must be cultivated deliberately and intentionally. It does not happen automatically. For the process of responsibility, whether it be over for your own body or the relationships you're in or the environment of your world, all of these things are requiring your deliberate interaction with them to affect conscious, intelligent change. And there are many different beings and many different planets and many different systems in this creation that you call life. And you only see a small fraction of it, but the principles are equally as potent on the level of a grain of sand as they are on the level of all of humanity. And when you understand this, you can move yourself into a different state of articulating how you say and what you do and the intentions you put behind these words, these actions and deeds. It is important you learn these things. Yes. And on that note, I'm going to also mention that learning to transform and transmute negative emotional energies, whether they be the internalized feelings that you have from your past that you haven't released or healed, or whether they be the effects you see in the world of fires or drought or monsoons, we are interconnected intimately to this system. And when you understand that relationship and begin to utilize it, you are liberated by the available knowledge that comes to you from all points of time and space at the same moment. In our mediumship courses, we go very deeply into the process of how do you go from being just this separate individual to opening up to these other realms of being, these other capabilities that we all have, clairvoyance, to clairaudience, claircognizance, the different skill sets that we have, the non-physical senses that we can develop to move our awareness over the continental property of Australia and to deliberately interact with the energy of the air and the wind and the oceans and the land, and to deliberately affect changes those. We all have that capacity, and you can learn how to do those. We train people how to do that on a step-by-step basis over a 9-week process where you actually get a chance to begin to get your mind quiet and get yourself into a deliberate creative process. Yes. Master Jesus is saying it is and must be a deliberate and conscious creative process. Your life is and must be a deliberate and conscious creative process. This way there will be no error and no denial of responsibility, but the evolution of your individualized capabilities. And this is so true, and I can say that from my own personal experience, having I've been a conscious channeler now for 2 years, where I really recognize and understand and comprehend that there are these other realms and dimensions of consciousness and beings that are around us all, waiting for us to open up to their frequencies, to gain instruction from them, much the same way as you gain instruction from a teacher in school, or your mother or your father or a friend when you're looking for advice. Your angels, your guides, the ascended masters are all with all of us. They're not exclusive to one individual, and you can learn to tap into their knowledge and wisdom and go into a different schoolroom, so to speak, and begin to evolve yourself. But it's amazing what we can do as a species, what we can do as individuals to create experiences of being that transcend what we conventionally know. And again, I want to thank everybody for helping with the Australian event the other evening, and I also want to thank all the other groups that were out there doing the same thing, because consciousness trumps matter. Consciousness trumps matter. If you want to know more about the courses and classes we teach, which will be beginning in February this year, you can go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and you can read all about the courses there. You can book a reading with me. You can get all the information. You can register whatever you like, but we'd love to have you in the class and courses. Join this human potential movement that's underway on a massive scale, planetarily, and know that you're never, ever alone in the process of creation. All you need to do is open your heart and your mind, and I assure you, your guides, your angels, and even those guides and angels that are in physical form, the mentors and the teachers and instructors that we have here that are in the human potentials movement, we're all here for you. And equally, you are here for us, for your lessons or our lessons. And any growth that you do impacts and affects all of us, and vice versa. So thank you for stopping by and listening to this short message today. I want to thank Master Jesus for coming by today. Thank you. Because one of the things he said to me this morning is that it's time that when you start to open up to higher frequencies, it's time you just deliver the message. You don't think about it, you just deliver it. And that's what's happened this morning when he came and he said, you have to deliver this message. So I will be likely doing more of this more frequently as I start to get into a habit of allowing communication to happen when it happens and share it with you in the moment of it occurring, which is what this is today. And again, thank you very much. My name is William Michael Forbes, and I appreciate your time. Much love. Bye for now.